when we look back at the Titans, Deshaun Watson played his best game as a Cleveland Brown, and the numbers are pretty good. 27 of 33, 289, 2 touchdowns. You see the 123.4 QBR. And keep in mind, would have had another long touchdown if not for a whistle. I get those things happen. I know you've answered this question before. Do you think he's turned the corner? Are we starting to see more of the form that made him a Pro Bowler with the Texans?
Well, let me first say that I just thought it was an absolute gross overreaction by so many last week after one bad game in Pittsburgh for so many people to completely write off Deshaun Watson. I mean, that is just absolutely absurd to do that after really what amounts to one game. And I don't think that you can really look at the 6 games from the end of last season and lump them into this season. It's a new year, a new system, new personnel, and we know that last year's 6 games came with its own set of circumstances. So I don't think we need to lump these whole 8 games together. I think he should be judged for the most part on what he does this season. And, for everyone to say that he was finished and that he was broken and all those other terms that I heard from last week, I just thought that was preposterous. Because that was a bad game. I mean, let's just call it what it was. It was a bad game. I thought he lost his cool. I thought he lost his composure. I thought he got outside of himself, and he did not manage the game well. That's evidenced by the fact that he got 2 face mask penalties. So after the pick 6, after Nick going out, he took too much on his shoulders and didn't realize, hey, I have a defense that is playing really, really well, and I don't have to knock over the world in this game. I just have to stay calm and do my job. And that's what he did for the most part in this last game. He had to overcome some adversity against the Titans early on, but he did that. He set aside, that bad throwback. He set aside some other things that happened in the game that weren't perfect, and he went on to do what he had to do. I think it should also be noted, however, though, that this is a bad pass defense that he went against. So before we go saying that Deshaun has turned the corner and now everything's going to be fine and he is what he was in Houston, let's just take it for what it was worth. It was a really nice bounce back performance against a pedestrian pass defense.
Yeah, absolutely fair. Do you think, did Kevin Stefanski do some things relative to what the play calling and formations to try to get Deshaun going early, do you think?
He did, and and some of those things worked against this team, and some of those things didn't work as well against this team. And some of the things that he tried to do in this game might not work against the San Francisco 49ers, who are coming in after the bye week, or might not work against the Baltimore Ravens this week. So you kind of have to take each week as its own entity, and maybe when it's so early in the season, not make like really bold proclamations or sweeping generalizations about where this team's at, where it's going, and how good anyone is. Because I don't think we can draw some of those conclusions until probably almost like late November when it comes to, who's doing what and where this is all headed. But for the most part, Kevin did a nice job. He tried to get a lot of different guys involved, and he did to a degree. I think they still need to try to figure out how to make the most out of Elijah Moore. But certainly the connection between Amari and Deshaun, that's really coming along nicely. But there's still a lot of room for improvement.